Okay, so let's start. Live again. Cool. Again, quick sound test. Everybody, let me see. Again, quick sound test. Everybody. Cool. So the sound is working. Super good. What are we doing? So we're not playing any video games. I wish maybe at some point I'm just playing a video game on stream, not sure. But today again we're going to animate. We have to continue our fight scenes. And yeah, let's jump in, I would say. Super excited. We're going to continue where we left off the last times. So yeah, already the last two streams were about how to animate a punch, how to animate a fight, getting in there. Let me quickly check the last streams. Yeah. Mastering fight, epic fight. So we're getting there step by step, getting a better feeling on how to animate a fight, how to animate punches. Super fun. Super fun. And yeah, let's jump in. So the goal will be a little bit today so we have a little reference, a Shaolin fight little scene, to simplify that and break it down a little bit, see what can we learn from the movements, and then maybe increase a little bit the complexity and sketch the characters a little bit better out. Maybe add a couple of animation principles like anticipation, smears. Yeah. And also having two characters. Maybe we're sketching one first and then the other, and then both at the same time, and see what kind of workflow suits us. Also feel free to try that out. Can be, of course, a little bit overwhelming to sketch two characters at the same time. But yeah, let's see. Cool. Hello, Denzela. Cool to see you. So just talking a little bit what we're going to do today. And with that, let's jump in. Beep, beep, beep. Cool. So here we have, we could watch it first before then jumping in. Making it a little bit bigger here or even full screen. So this will be the scene we're going to animate. So this one from the side, especially, these were just a couple of seconds, but we can already learn so much from them. And I feel like, especially when studying reference, it helps to see the whole body moving, so you can also understand like how are the legs moving with the arms also, and what is the total body doing, and not just only the upper body. And animating stuff like that can we do also in the next streaming session. I think that's super fun. I also did some Shaolin Kung Fu like 10 years ago. And yeah, for a couple of years, for 2 or 3 years. And it was super fun. Yeah, can highly recommend. Of course, if you're getting older, it gets more difficult to move your body like that. But yeah, it's super fun. And good for the body. You're stretching a lot. Cool. Hello, Dadzilla. I have a question. Can you look at animation in another perspective other than cartoons? So should I look at reference other than cartoons, or also animating less in, I would say, in a anime style, cartoon style, and more in a realistic style? Or just using or looking at reference or studying from reference? Yeah. But of course, I think in general, to have a broader range of animating or being able to animate in different styles, but also studying from different reference is always great, and not only sticking to one subject. Yeah. Cool. So I'm excited to jump in here. let's go for it. Not so fast how quickly all this here moves. So they're jumping here. Could even start here. And with that, let's go in there. Let's go in. And of course, also I want the first one reminder a little bit from the animator survival kit to break down the figures into basic shapes like we can see here in the reference. I feel like this is helping so much to focus first on the basic movement, and then of course we can always later sketch these characters a little bit better out. I'm asking if there's another definition for animation other than cartoons, like explaining what we see. It to a person. So let me see if I'm understanding your question. I'm asking if is there another definition for animation other than cartoons, like explaining what it is to a person. So, of course, it depends. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm getting your question right. So there's of course also 3D animation. Then you have all kind of different animation. You also like have these where they're putting each figures in a row. What was clay? I think is it clay animation? There's stuff like that, but you have so many different kinds and styles of animation. But in general, I would say the general definition is, I think, yeah, you have still images, and these are, yeah, put in a row together, so the illusion will be created that things are actually moving. I also find this one here funny. A bit the history here of animation. Yeah, and I think it doesn't have to be always like a cartoony style. Of course, with the invention of cameras and stuff like that, if you want to have a realistic style, you're just using cameras. Yeah. But of course, there are all kinds of styles of animation. But would be a cool research to see like what different styles or approach of animations are out there and working, other than like Pixar, Disney stuff. Yeah. Not sure if this answering your question. If not, yeah, let me a little bit more. Let me a little bit or share a little bit more in the chat. And with that, we will jump into the first animation. So what I did here, it's just as a warm up. I like to, for example, you could also sketch a couple of basic ellipses, or like from Loomis, you start with ellipse like that, sketching in here the whip cage, stuff like that. But sometimes also what's cool, especially when learning animation, just to have a basic figure, start with the head and sketch a little bit from your imagination and from your anatomy styles, and see how you can sketch figures, to see what if you can put together the anatomy of the human body from imagination. Of course, it won't be perfect, but then you can see where you're making mistakes and where do you want to maybe intensify your studies. And also here, like, see how you can simplify figure. I feel like being able to sketch a simple figure will help you a lot when then animating. So I like to do this kind of stuff here a lot when warming up. Yeah, so let's see what we did the last time. So this one was a fun study from Naruto. This little animation here, where we first like had a down view, and then we simplified it even more and sketched it really from the side. So I had a line here below, and yeah, played a little bit with timing and a couple of punches in a row and see how we could make that work. And then we had this one where I started to study a little bit a basic figure here. And we see the last one. And also this one I think was great, was the first approach of really simplifying the figure, a little bit like in the Animator Survival Kit. And yeah, I mean, these kind of animations are super fast, but you can really focus like how's the body moving, how the body's going back or forth without spending too much time with the animation. So this will be a little bit the goal for today. Cool. So let's start here. And yeah, it's always have to remind a little bit ourselves to keep things simple. So let's see where we start. Maybe we start a little bit more here. Maybe with this one. Okay. And maybe to make things a little bit more easy, we're sketching in here a line on the ground. And now, like that. Let's try to do a simple version here, where we have these characters flashing and really having a basic figure we can work with. Also, reposition your drawing if needed. And of course, we see our character from the side, but not completely, but we try a little bit here to make it properly from the side. So this one is behind. And this arm here is like that, maybe. So we have one character here and the other character here in front. So let's see. It will work like that. Super simplified. But that's a little bit the goal right now, to super simplify it, and then maybe let's see. We can sketch it out more properly later. So we will stick first here really to the key drawings. So here he's going down. Like that. This comes here. Now this arm here goes to the front. And of course, it's also a cool example. Hello, Julio. Cool to see you that you're joining stream. So we're studying a little bit a basic choreography, or what a basic. I think these choreographies are beautiful, but we're trying to simplify them and do a basic animation. So it's also not so when you're doing it maybe for the first time, not so intimidating. A little bit inspired from the Animator Survival Kit, where you have basic figures and yeah, really focusing first on the basic movement before then sketching more complex characters. That's a little bit the goal here, so you can see how is the body moving, especially when also having then the two characters here you have to animate at the same time. I feel like, yeah, it helps a lot. So he's actually going a little bit forward here. Maybe like that. Okay, and the other character is going a little bit down here. Like that. Cool. And the legs here. And always go a little bit back and forth in your reference to see actually what's happening. How's the body moving? Then use your selection tool to rearrange things to reposition your animation if you want. Maybe in this example, put one of your key drawings a little bit down to add dramatic effect, or have a little bit more variation in it. Like that. Cool. And of course, if you have any question, let me know in the chat. So here it's actually super interesting what's happening. See if we can zoom in a little bit. So we're understanding what's happening. Okay, we have to quickly go back to our scene here. Accidentally jump to the wrong direction. So we're here. And then was our last key drawing. And then he's blocking the punch here. And here's super interesting to see, okay, which movement you want to animate next. Maybe we do this one now. So he's going down here. And always remind yourself and try to keep things simple. After that, we could try to make a version that is a little bit more realistic. Like that. So the head is a little bit too much in front. Maybe a little bit more here. Cool. So he's dodging the punch. Maybe we see a little bit here from the other arm. And now the other character. They are the character. And then, of course, if you forgot what's happening, just go back and forth. So this one goes a little bit wide and the other arm comes up. This one stays similar. Maybe we are also adding here a little smear. Like that. Maybe gets a little bit more straight here again with his legs. Cool. So here they're crossing a little bit the arms. And now we have the next punch here. We could add maybe here one, maybe like that. Maybe a smear here. Make a little bit more up. Leg gets here a little bit more straight. And this one comes here. Cool. And the other arm now, let's see. Let's create a bigger smear here. What's working? Is here behind. Let's see if this is okay and working or not. I feel like we could even combine it to one smear. Let me check. Or if it's questionable and not so easy to understand what's happening. That's also interesting. Like, do you want to add a smear on both hands at the same time? Or is it too confusing and too hard to understand then what's happening? Or do you want to create a smear maybe only at this one here and also like not so strongly, so it's more easy to understand actually what's happening? Maybe like that. Okay. Yeah, the character now goes a little bit up again. This comes here. And we have a punch here. Like that. Cool. This can stay almost like that. Just the other leg here comes a little bit more here. Cool. So as you can see, super basic figures, but we're way more faster in sketching down our key positions. We can add smears. We can see how many frames do you want to sketch, like every frame you see in the reference. Do you want to skip a couple of frames? So just experiment there a little bit. Cool, 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 cool. And looks already fun. And we're just like 4 frames in it. So, and now we have here another punch. See if you're seeing the reference like that. Maybe a little more here. Cool. And now here he's going even more. Let's see what's happening. A little bit more here. Oh, first let's sketch this one. Like that. We could even then quickly sketch down here the legs. And again we have a punch here. maybe. See, can make that work. Have him punching here 3 times. And these things really just try it out. When do you want to add a smear? What kind of a smear? And remind yourself to keep things simple. And the other one now is going a little bit more here. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, when playing fast, looks fun. So let's see what else. Now he's striking back. So we have this one here now. Maybe let's do one more here, one more breakdown. Maybe this one. Where he's pulling his arms back. Like that. See if it's clear enough. Sketch the other character here, goes a little bit more up. The arm also goes up here. The leg, of course, then go also a little bit up. A little bit more straight when the whole body goes up. But just a little bit. And the lines a little bit okay for now. Maybe make a little bit more clear here what's happening with the arms. With the arms. See if this is helping. Or not. Are we making one big smear here? Maybe like that. I feel like we have to do the smear in the other direction actually. So it's clear that he's moving his arms back. And maybe invent a little bit here the direction he's actually moving his arms back. Maybe this works. So yeah, take your freedom, your creativity to invent a little bit, or even for now this movement was a little bit difficult to understand what's actually happening. So you just sketching in the smears. So if it's going in that direction, the movement, you have your smear here and the hard part here. and yeah, sketch it maybe a little bit in the arc, so it's easier to understand how the character actually is moving. Also, we just saw it here a little bit going in that direction, so we have here hard line and here smear with lines like that, so we know when playing fast in which direction the hand is moving down. Cool, the next one. The next one. Now we have a punch here. This character here is coming up. Again, let's not forget that we want to do a simpler version here. Cool. And the other one will be here, also more straight. I feel like even we could even simplify it more, but let's see in a second. Like that. Goes here. Bend it a little bit. And this arm here will be here. Cool. Goes super fast here. And then we have a kick here and a kick like that. That's how the scene finishes. But yeah, we already, like with this first approach, a simple, super simple version, we're learning a lot here. So let's do a little review. We could, of course, be a little bit more consistent with our figure in general and how it's looking. But other than that, especially with smears here, having a smear like that in an arc direction, then also seeing how the feet are moving just a little bit, especially when they're fighting so fast, the feet actually stays a little bit in the same position. And we skipped also a lot of frames, so sketching more or less only the key drawings with a couple of breakdown drawings, similar like from the animator survival kit. Like if we have quickly here, like we have this key drawing here, this one, the contact, then we have this one here, and in this animation we did here, we almost just only sketched in the key drawings and more maybe the passing position, or also could also call it the breakdown position, and didn't add so many down and ups or in betweens. So, and still working, we still can understand what's happening in the fighting animation. Cool. Yeah, if you have any question, let me know. And then we're going actually would say, oh, okay, now what's next? What's coming now? We're doing it one more time. One more time. We're going back here. We would need that sound. And try even to simplify it more. And maybe let's even do now only the left character here and focus to see, even simplify the movement more. Simplify it more and see how we can simplify it even more and maybe really use as a reference just this figure here. Let me see. Doing a screenshot. So we're keeping things simple. This screenshot should be somewhere here. Yeah, cool. So we can put it here into the corner. Maybe here. Let's see. Okay. So just we have it from time to time as reference to remind ourselves how our figure wanted to look like, or how to, so we're keeping it simple. So no muscles, no nothing, just a basic figure. Sometimes I feel like, yeah, it's just, it can be hard to remind yourself to keep things simple like that. But also then you can observe things like it, or at the first view, like this line here is super important, like how your hip, if you're sketching your hip like that or like that. To indicate like what leg is actually in the front, or even to show perspective with that. So the other arm is actually here a little bit in the shadow of the same position. Like that. And now the leg. Okay. Then we have this one here. We're moving a little bit up here, and the legs come also up. Like that. Then we have this one. And I feel like with that, like by simplifying the figure so strong, you could almost observe like every kind of reference material and simplify it so much, and then don't worry about too much about anatomy stuff like that. You can later work on that or implement it into your animation and really focus on like what's actually happening here in your animation. Use like a simple ellipse here to show a little bit your foot. And actually we observe closely, so this one is going that in perspective. Even if we're sketching it more or less from the side, we still can't show a little bit of perspective that this one's going to the other direction. like that. Cool. And we have here the other arm behind the body. Could, of course, should make. Don't worry too much about it, but if you're just seeing it, quickly improve a little bit your proportions. And make the legs a little bit longer. Cool. And these are really the key drawings. Of course, then you could later in and add here like a smear and stuff like that to make it a little bit more appealing, the animation. But right now we're focusing on simplification. And now the body is opening up here. Check our reference. Just so we're keeping things simple. Like that. And going step by step through our reference here. Cool. And of course it looks super stiff right now, but that's okay. The goal really right now is simplification and see a little bit yeah, how we can observe and sketch down the key drawings and then later improve things a little bit. So here the character's moving down now again. Where 5. Here, of course, you could also sketch and then smear and let it a little bit move more cooler down, or squash and stretch, like we know from animating a bouncing ball. Also here we're keeping it simple. Maybe a little bit. Squash and stretch. But stick to our basic character here. Cool. And now he's landing. And the other hand goes here. Great, super cool. Of course, we see a little bit. The legs should be. Could sketch it again, or just taking the legs here and triggering it a little bit more here to the side. So he's not too much off balance here. Okay, let's just do it quickly again. So he's not falling down like that. Okay, and now we could also, if we want, create here. Maybe here. A little bit more down. With that, we have a little bit know where ground plane is. Cool. And as you can see, we're also way more faster when simplifying the figure like that. So that's also helping. And then we could already make, for example, already go to edit track and say assign multiple frames by cell names. And let's see how I want to do it. Like every 4th frame, we position our animation. Delete this one. Expand our animation. Now we have some, so we position now animated if it would be on 4th. So every 4th frame we have positioned one drawing. So we actually could add here a couple of in-betweens and enhance a little bit the timing. For example, then go in here and add a smear here. Maybe like that. Cool. And the arms just like that. Maybe here somewhere in between. And with that, yes, start a little bit to improve your animation. Sketching things here properly out. Like that. And with that, by enhancing the timing a little bit, we can make the animation a little bit more fun. Cool. Hello, Ken's my art back to the line of duty, always working. Yeah, especially then also smears. I feel like to keep things simple and then getting back to smears and enhancing a little bit the timing is the key almost to so many animations. could even add more here. And especially also in this position here. Add a little keyframe. It's almost similar to the one before. That can be also, especially when playing a little bit with your timing, can be still a little bit rough. And we could even add one more here. And yes, you can see slowly the things come here together. With our animation. Super cool, super, super cool. By making things here a little bit more slow, here a little bit more fast actually. We would even, and then you can also readjust a couple of frames. But yeah. Can't my as well try to accelerate the first pose for an anticipation? Yeah, of course. I feel like especially a backwards movement would help a lot to make things even way more dynamic then. And not let him, I mean, we're starting here in the middle, in the air, so a little bit anticipation would help, of course. So maybe going down and then he's jumping. Yeah. But I feel I love it, for example, also for the next streams, to have these simple figures like that. We can super quickly play with different animation principles. When, for example, like you said, anticipation, smears, timing, and spacing. And if the character would already be sketched more complex out, it would a little bit be more hard to do that. Cool. So yeah, that's why always the animator survival kit. It's just great. Of course, it looks first simple, but there's so much magic in it, in simplifying things so much. And like if you can animate a simple figure like that, and it looks good, and you applied the animation principles, and it's fun, then you can sketch it like you want at the end, realistic or in any style. Cool. Okay, so as the last thing, I'm not sure if we're going to finish it, but I wanted also, let's do a little bit more like a study with the characters a little bit properly sketched out. For example, again, we're starting here again. And let's see, maybe we do it not pose to pose, but like if we have the reference straight ahead and see how we can at the same time play a little bit with the timing. Okay. Just for fun. So I'm immediately adding a couple of smears here. And let's see how things are working. Of course, not going too much into detail, even if we're sketching things a little bit better out. Maybe like that. Indicating that this one is behind. And we also have a little bit behind stuff here. Maybe this line here. So even still staying simple with our drawing, but yeah, adding a little bit more dynamic lines and stuff like that. And now maybe adding even directly a little bit of motion. So just sketching the character a little bit better out. Like that. And maybe now adding here a little bit smear here to the foot. Cool. And also here. It's already fun. Maybe here to the hand. And also indicating that this one here is behind. Don't have to do it. Feel like sometimes easier to read the drawing. And if this would be animated on ones or twos, I feel like we don't even need any in between these two, especially when adding a smear here. But yeah, try that out. Actually, there's no right or wrong way. So maybe we're doing now this one here. But we could even go to the position you see the more clear, and then go here, go back and forth in your frame, and try a little bit just to feel out a little bit what's actually happening with the body when he's jumping up here. So his head is moving down, up, his arm is a little bit opening, and his legs of course are also a little bit opening. Yeah, so you can add that a little bit to your animation. And for me, it's already 11 p.m. here, so almost midnight. So let's hope not I fall asleep in the next 10 minutes. But this will be, I think, the last animation for today. I mean, I only have 40 minutes left of this day. So just time-wise, logically, it's the last animation. But I think also, time is flying again. Like animation, when you're animating, the time flies so fast. So that's always I like the approach before, simplifying the figure so much, because you can learn so much and still not spending too much time in sketching figures. Like for example here, this already looks maybe cooler or looks more fancy to sketch figures more out, but yeah, be clear on what you want to learn, and then do you actually have to sketch a figure a little bit more sketch out, or is a basic figure, for example, like from the animator have enough for this thing you want to learn? Yeah, I think that's also sometimes help to be clear there. So here the legs comes a little bit up, maybe like that, and then even if you don't, or even if we're on the side, we have ellipses. It's always helping to establish quickly perspective without sketching a vanishing point or cubes or stuff like that. And we have to be a little bit more here. Add a little bit more foreshortening. See if we can get it quickly believable. This is working or not. Maybe a little bit too short. Let's see in a second how we feel about it and if the proportions are working or not. And this leg here now goes more to the other side. Maybe this is too far away, so just quickly use your tool here. And now comes in handy to indicate what's behind the body and what's in front. So, cool. So this arm here needs to go a little bit more up. Like that. Quickly indicating the hands here. And the other arm is here behind. I think even on this, like I even learned this movement when I was 15 or 16 when I was doing martial arts. It's so much, I think when you're jumping, you're clapping your hands on your feet actually. So that's the thing I learned. And it's funny now to animate movements like that if you did them a long time ago. Of course, it wasn't looking so good when I was doing it, but still it was super fun. And right now what we're doing, we're animating it straight ahead. So we're adding a little bit more timing in a second. That being said, so we have things here more fast. And now we're sketching just this figure here 1 or 2 times. So we have a little bit more better timing. So what we're doing actually, we already sketching here the in-between before having the next key drawing. Like that. And changing things just a little bit. And then we can see in a second how things look. Super fun. And I feel like this is also a cool reference to observe. And even now on ones, looks cool. I would even add another one here. Maybe now this one, where we're here taking a little bit more the time to sketch different changes here in movement. So here now he moves even more up like that. The hand comes a little bit more here. Like that. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. And now the leg, go back and forth to see what's happening. Okay, the knee and the foot is moving a little bit down. So we're implementing that. Okay. Let's see what the other arm is doing. The other arm is moving a little bit up. Like that. Cool. Hello Zata, cool to see you that you're joining the stream. So we in our last animation here, where we're sketching it straight ahead and immediately adding a little bit more better timing and smears and stuff like that. Before we have it super simplified, I can do a little recap at the end of the stream. So in around 15 to 30 minutes, I will finish the stream. But yeah, this will be our last animation where we're adding a little bit more details, but immediately having things here a little bit better planned out in terms of timing. But I feel like this movement here could even have another in between. So now let's do this one. And then we are speeding up again the timing. And when we can even, sometimes I feel like, of course, it helps a lot to go back and forth frame by frame, but then also to just play it in real movement and then also look again how things actually play out in real movement is helping also. Just as a little note here. A little note. Okay, so things are going move even more down. And use, even when increasing a little bit the complexity here of your basic figure, still try to work with basic shapes. Do we want to add a smear here? Maybe not. Maybe in a second again when things get more fast or way more fast. And maybe we're adding now a smear here. Let's see. Or maybe we're jumping now a couple of frames and see if it's working. So we go from here to here, maybe here. And maybe we're adding here a little squash and stretch. Let's see how much we can exaggerate it and push things. Feel like this is not working. Let's do it again. If things don't work, just do it again. Take your time. That is writing. I passed my school a few months ago and now I want to become 2D animator. My parents and people around me saying that AI will take a lot of animators' job. So what I have to do, I am so confused. I have to choose it as a career or drop this plan and move on. Yeah, so I feel like a lot of creative people um, feel themselves in a similar position. So you're not alone with it. So I'm working as an art director, like in a more advertising field industry, and things also change there in the kind how we work. For example, how we using Photoshop. Um, um, no matter if AI or not, the industry will change. I mean, even with 3D, things changed a lot before AI even was a topic. I feel like still 2D animation could be worth something pursuing also full time, or I think you wrote you want to study it. Like if you live in a city and you have the opportunity to study 2D animation, I would go for it if you can. I won't think that 2D animation will be or won't be a topic anymore in 2 years, in 5 years, or in 10 years. I think also, like, especially, um, I just heard a podcast on AI, and they used AI in a movie and they got a big shitstorm. So we are not at the point right now where AI is replacing completely creative, like, structures or pipelines or how we work or final assets, final animations. And even if you look at the best AI outcomes in terms of, like, for example, the company um, OpenAI, I think they made ChatGPT. They also have this for video. It looks impressive, but you still see that it's AI. And if you want to have a certain look in any production or wherever, I don't think AI already is at the point to replace all creative people or all the animators. Um, that's a little take on AI. Then another thing, even if AI won't be a thing, I would always, if you're also younger, follow a little bit your curiosity and don't limit yourself only to for 2D animation. For example, I'm also doing a lot of graphic design. I'm also doing a lot of motion design in After Effects. And actually, I'm earning my money more with graphic design work and art direction work than I'm earning my money with 2D animation. Maybe I'm doing that at some point, but yeah, if you have fun being creative, look what other things than 2D animation, maybe also photography. At the end, all these things have a lot of design principles, animation principles in common. For example, I can translate skills from motion design or graphic design also to 2D animation. So be open there, and I would say go for 2D animation, but the at some point you have to be realistic, and you have to earn some money. So what could be also something else or creative thing where it's more easy and faster to earn some money with? For for myself, it was graphic design, and then you have time if you can pay your bills, stuff like that, pay for your food. Then you have also time to learn 2D animation. And like I said, if you have the opportunity to study it, then go for it. But be open just for different things. And also use, I know it's a difficult topic, and for example, Midjourney images look incredible because they feed it the system, or I'm not sure how to say it in English, but the data library with a lot of great artists. So just think about it from a moral perspective. Do you want to use that AI system? I think the AI system from Adobe is a little bit more fair in terms they only use stock images. You see that also in the outcome. But what I just in short, maybe you could also use AI tools to help you in your 2D animation production. I think there are also AI development tools in development to help you a little bit with your in-betweens and make that process a little bit more faster. So what could be a workflow? So where you still are animating, but maybe using AI features to help you. Yeah, long talk, but I would say enjoy your life. The life is short. I would even, if you have fun, maybe you try animation for 1 year and you realize, that's not like how you imagined it to be, and you're changing. So yeah, don't make plans in your life for 5 years if possible. Be open, try things out, follow your curiosity. And a creative life where you earning things with creative things, no matter if it's 2D animation, 3D animation, graphic design, film, whatever, can be a super fun life. I can recommend it. Also hard, but if you're passionate about it, I can recommend it. And there's always so many different possibilities to earn a living as a creative person. And I mean also at the end you can be, if being honest, in almost every job to some degree being creative. It's not something exclusively to a designer or artist. I hope that helped a little bit and gave a little bit more context. If you have a specific question, let me know here in the chat in the future stream. And if you want to just explore 2D animation on your own, there's so many great creators online work. For example, I try just here also to share knowledge, cut these streams together, and yeah, just having fun together and learning 2D animation. Cool. So back to animation here. We also added already we're only 7 frames in here, but we already added also in betweens and animated it here straight ahead. I think it looks super fun. Cool. We could even quickly reposition the frames. So go to edit track, assign multiple cells, cell name, so make it on 2s and see how things work. And I think it looks good. I mean, it's super fast, but especially the smear here, I would say, looks cool. So we have one fast movement here, and then we added a couple more of frames here. So we have that a little bit better rhythm in our spacing here and also timing. Super cool. And then, of course, I also have to try that out a little bit. You know, these things here where they're adding. So you see a little bit how your animation is spaced out. So we have less. So this here would be our number 1, 2, 3. So here we have 1, 2, 3. And then here we added more in betweens actually. And with that, we have that nice rhythm here in our animation. Super cool. Great. So, yes, as I think about it, and talk, I feel like I'll talk with a lot of people about it, and then take things step by step. I'm not sure if it's like a final decision for you, or if you can try it out and then, yeah, just see. And even like, I feel like sometimes, like older generation had it more where they had one job only, and they did it for the rest of their lives, and feel like to some degree we are a little bit forced like to have different careers because also industry changes, sometimes your job changes and you're a little bit forced to learn something new, do something else. But yeah, so yeah, there are a lot of people also like people who do movies. Sometimes they produce their first film when they're 30 or 40 or even later. So it's also never too late to go for something you're curious in or passionate about. Yeah, also normal. Okay, great. Was a super fun stream. I like also the animation here we did at the end. Of course, like we see, we just having 7 frames here at the end. Sketch it a little bit out more realistically, but it's always getting then more time consuming when we properly adding a nice timing and spacing and stuff like that, smears. Of course, it looks super cool after that, and yeah, can enjoy it a lot. But yeah, also then, like I said, think about what do you want to study, focus on one thing, and then execute it and think how complex do you have to sketch your characters, or is a simple version also okay, like we did before in this one here. This one is super simplified. Of course, it don't look so sexy, I would say. Not so fancy, not so cool, but it can, yeah, be also better have or have achieve the purpose you want to reach. And we also have this one here. I feel like this was the one where we, yeah, it was a good mix between like the a little bit more realistic we did and the one a little bit oriented or inspired by the animated survival kit, and still we could focus here um, on the basic movement and what's happening here. And yeah, sketch first, not straight ahead, but post to post, sketch first in the keyframes, and then maybe adding a couple of in-betweens or breakdowns. Yeah, and when then having a reference, try out how many frames you actually want to sketch in. Like if you're sketching, for example, here every frame, or if you're jumping 3 frames, sketch a drawing. Jumping 3 or 4 frames, sketch a drawing. Or even check what are the key drawings here. So what are the essential movements you have to sketch in so you can understand the drawing, but not sketching every single frame or in between in. So you could say, okay, this here is one keyframe, then he's landing, this is one keyframe, then he's punching here. If this is one keyframe, then he's going down one keyframe, then he's doing this movement, then keyframe, and see if the first sketching in the keyframe, if you can understand the movement, and then adding a couple of breakdowns. Similar, like the basic principle, if you're new to it, like from the animated survival kit, where you're first sketching in the contact position, what the first keyframe, then you're sketching. You could then sketch the last contact position, but you could also then sketch the passing position and then the contact position, and see if you can understand what's happening, and then adding breakdowns or also then in betweens. Cool. So this logic or this approach, this post to post approach, where like post means like one key drawings, you go from one key drawing to the next key drawing, can apply to every animation, everything you want to animate, and even if you want to study new things, this can help you a lot. Cool. Then also if you're playing it again, I mean, it's super fast also. Like, we did this little scene here, but I mean, if we played it normally, how fast they're jumping and exchanging punches, that's also cool to see. Yeah. And we could also even continue our study here and see what else we can learn. Also here, I'm super cool. Then of course I will also explore in between frames and see also camera movement. But I feel like these first seconds here are great to study. So you can find it on YouTube here, the extraordinary final test to become a Shaolin master. Yeah, you can find great reference online and learn from it. Super cool. With that was a fun stream. Super cool everyone who joined. Denzilla again. Can Smell Art. Super cool name. There's also your question was super interesting. Can understand it. Wish you all the best. Hope to see all of you in one of the next stream. Yeah, if you have any question, let me know later here in the comments on the video, in the chat, in the future stream. Write me a direct message on my socials or comment there. Happy to help. Yeah, and I think this will be probably the last stream for this week. I won't have time tomorrow and Friday. But yeah, 2 streams again this week. Fun. And I will see you next week then. Maybe a spontaneously stream. Not sure. The chance that I'm doing another stream this week are about 5%, maybe even 1%, so super low. But maybe who knows what's happening in life with that. But in the end, I think we all can wait to next week. But yeah, I'm also just next to my job. Always super fun, these animation sessions. Okay, enough talking. 1 hour 30 minutes talking. For me now, it's almost like 50 minutes. I have midnight here. To end the day, relax a little bit, and yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you in one of the next stream. Bye.